Alright, we're going to do part 4 here. Having some difficulties with the phone tonight, but we're going to continue here. I want to show you guys exactly what's going on here with the outer rocker. So so we got our outer rocker here. And if you can see, this was replaced. This whole rocker was replaced. They must have replaced it when they did the floor. So, if you can see, I'm gonna take this fender, I'm gonna bring it back where it needs to be. So we'll push this whole front clip up. If you watch, you'll see it cinch up. Okay. Now that that's in the proper space, we'll be able to see the proper fitment of where this needs to be. So if you can see, when I push this in where this is going to set, this whole rocker is actually way in. Now this didn't change. This that they welded in, this actually needs to come out. And I think it needs to actually pivot a little bit. So there's two things that we can do. There's a whole bunch of options that we could do here. One, we could cut somewhere and just bring this out, because the whole objective here is to get this metal out to where she's actually needs to be. And I think the easiest way to go about that because I'd like to keep the structural integrity of this, but this is also doing a dog leg. This is going up. This is doing a wheelie here. So really this needs to go down and it needs to go out. So all this needs to get cut out and re-put back in. And I'm trying to look to see what would be the easiest place, where the easiest place would be to cut this and refit it back on. Or if I could cut it in certain places to where it wants to come out by itself, because it looks like it's binding up in here. So I'm going to put you guys back up on the tripod, and I think I'm going to start cutting a couple key places here. I'll let you guys know where I cut. And we're going to try to get this outer rocker out and down. So here we go. Put you guys back on the tripod without cutting this video out. I'm sorry about all the short videos here, but we're getting used to all this technology with the phones and stuff here. So let's put you guys up here. Alright. And then I'm gonna plug my power source back into the phone, which I have to, let's see, there you go. Wonder if you guys are watching me upside down now, because I flipped the phone upside down. Alright. Okay, now we're charging, and we are still recording. You know, we could actually make this fender push this clip back forward. I don't want to cut the clip here. And the actuators came today. I bought them on it was an Amazon purchase. They were rated for like 350 pounds each, and I have 2 of them. That should be well enough to lift this whole front clip up. But let's do the boring shit first. So we're gonna cut into this somewhere so I can bring this out. And I want to make sure that when I'm cutting this, it doesn't make the body, you know, we don't want to whack out the body. We still have a brace that's welded in with bars, so there's no way that the front can come in or out. We braced up inside these panels before I put the sheet metal on. So there's no way that there's any fluctuation that's going to happen or occur there. So I think we're okay to cut whatever we want, and there's nothing that can change on the vehicle. So, yeah, I was thinking about actually taking the door and cinching this down so it meets what's here, so we don't have to, you know, mess around by cutting that rocker out, dealing with all that. But it would never match the fender. I'd have to like reshape the fender for it to match. I don't know if we should do that. Let me push this up and we'll see. That, get that in position, move this forward again. Alright, here we go. Get all the bolts. everything. Put all that aside. You know where your hardware is. That's everything. You know, if this wasn't doing a wheelie, I would probably be able to just do a couple relief cuts and bring it out. But since it's doing a wheelie and it's not doing good in the back, I gotta cut all the way towards the back and bring the whole panel out. Put it in that. Put it in that. Just gotta always make sure you know your game plan before you start cutting. Make sure you know where you're cutting, so there's no guessing. You got your game plan and you just execute. Do a couple cuts where I know that it needs to be cut. I'm going to get a fresh cutting wheel. Since it's getting later, I don't know how much time we have. But we're going to try to make all the noise as fast as we can so we can continue on with the progress here. My goal tonight is to get this all fitted and to get this door back on looking good. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Alright, we're gonna do some cuts here. I'm gonna try to get this door out of the way so you guys can see better what I'm doing. We don't need that door in the way right now. Okay. Take quarters. There we go. I think that I'm going to try to position you guys a little more down here so you can see. A little more. Okay. Alright, now we're going to do some cutting. Clean these goggles a little bit. here we go. We're gonna start cutting. So back here looks good, but we want to take everything that's not connected from the back on top here, so we could actually take this and pivot it out and down, while leaving this intact as much as we can. So I'm going to start by cutting over here. I'm going to work my way back, and we'll find out what all we need to do. See, I think they tacked it. Let me look under here for a second. Alright, now what I'm hoping is, I'm hoping they didn't go underneath and weld the rocker to the inner rocker. But I'm thinking they might have, and that's not good. We might end up trying to hammer this down a little, doing a relief cut, hammering this down, then do a relief cut here, and try to bring it out that way. Let's see what happens if we give this, because it doesn't look like they tacked anything over here. It actually looks like it's doing this. It's binding up against each other. That's why all that's up. But when they welded it in, they brought it in, and that's what messed us up, and that's why this all wound up. So I'm wondering if I can't bend this out with just a couple, cuts here, and if it doesn't work out, then we could just weld it back together, and then try to get what we can out of the door and make it look as good as we can, and then we might have to even go more custom with it, where we put some nice big, side skirts, and we can do some side metal to make it more dimensional. We could cheat that way too, and it'll just make it more custom and more a one-off body. So that might have to happen, but I think we're gonna try to do that. We're gonna give it a cut. We're going to bring it down, hammer it back into place, and we'll see if we can get a little out of it. We'll play with it a little bit. We'll see where it takes us. And if it's not looking good, then at least we'll be able to get this wheelie out of this panel. Then it'll look nice and flat. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut this up, and we're gonna get that panel looking a lot better and seat it down better. So where I'm going to cut is, I think, right in the channel. Because I don't want to cut in between the floor and the rocker. I think the safest approach would be to make my own line, hammer it down, get rid of what they had, weld in what we need, which we're not going to need anything. We'll be able to weld it. And we might cut this as well and try to see if we can't bring this out more. So let's do our first cut here. Brand new disc, make sure everything's right, everything looks good. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna come all the way to here because I can tell where it's level, and then about right here it starts to want to go up. Now we are free from this panel here. See, they were never even able to weld this together correctly. They did back here, but they weren't able to because the holes that they drilled to do spot welds wouldn't even match up, so they didn't even try it. Can we take that out? Probably. Are we gonna? Maybe. See, I can bring that down. We're gonna leave that there, and I'm gonna hammer this part down after I do a couple cut a couple tacks here. Now that we have that relief cut, that's pretty solid. I'm wondering if I could just cut right here too. Well, let's give it a little pounding and see what happens. I want to take a piece of wood and put it down. So then when we're hammering, we're not getting really big hammer marks in the metal. This will distribute the weight and bring it all down at once. So let's see if she'll come down for us. I've seen something happen. See what we're working with here. This isn't coming down too much, so we're going to concentrate the pressure where it really needs to be. Wax. See what happens. Starting to come down. Oh yeah. Yep. Coming along. Yeah, I think that's all they needed to do. Very nice. A lot better than what we had. I'm gonna take my hammer and a dolly. I'm gonna hit this dolly to get some of this metal back where it needs to be. You know, I think I'm going to give this another cut right here to see if I can't get this whole thing coming out. And I think it's got enough tension behind it where it wants to come out. It wants to. We're not doing any damage. Everything's good still. There's no, dents forming or anything like that. So I'm gonna give it a little more because I can feel where she's still kind of high. I want to get this all level, and then I don't think us cutting over here is gonna do us any good. And I'm wondering when this door got hit, there's no way that it could bring this whole panel back. But I'm wondering if they came in here and they tried to re-weld or something, because that's something we're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to look into. It doesn't look like they did though. They just messed around down here. And I see a little cut here, which I don't know what they did there, but okay. I'm gonna give it a couple more whacks with the hammer, get this thing looking right, with the right profile. Now our floor wants to go in too. See, now we can push the floor. It's all working down now. Oh man. Look at that. We'll just continue to pound this down into place. Even back here, it actually wants to come down. So maybe we'll leave this down, because I noticed the floor, from it buckling, it actually made the floor over here go downward. So now I can correct that and make the floor go where it wants to be. how floors are supposed to look. Fine tune a little bit. Take that out. And I think we're going to bring it back more too, to get a little more of this floor more level. Because this is the only portion now that's doing this weird, you know, it's binding together, so it wants to go upward. So let's cut back about here and see what we can get. Take these tacks that they had. I'm gonna cut these tacks away so we can get rid of this existing metal here. Weasel that some metal out. We don't need it. Alright. We got that out, we don't need that. Now you can really see where the metal wants to go. So we're going to hammer this down a little more. We're going to get this meeting up a little better. They only need a little where we want it to go. We're going to continue down a little bit more. Get it looking nice. The back up a little, and we'll bring this down a little, so the floor is nice and level. Alright, I'm going to take my piece of wood, I'm going to hammer this down, because I can see that this portion is still a little up. that all done, now be a good time. Well, we get a couple more hammers. They didn't weld the floor in here at all. So we'll take this existing metal here and we'll have it meet our existing rocker. Now that I think I like that, I think what we're going to do now, before I weld anything, I'm going to put that door back on. And we're going to see how it fits. So here we go. We're going to take the door. We got we're going on 40 minutes. So here we go. We're going to use the hinge. No, not right. Bet she wants to fit a lot better now. So I could tell where the hinge wants to be, and I could probably put a couple bolts just put a couple bolts through, I think this way, but what's the point right now anyway, right? Let's see how this door is fit. See how she's looking. Now we have something we can work with. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Yeah, we could definitely make this work now. So I think that was our only problem. Everything was binding up on that flat, because now I got all the profile on the bottom, everything's looking good. And another thing is these hinges, like I said, there's no give with these hinges. They're in place, and that's it. Once you screw them in, they have those certain type of bolts that sinks them down into place. So good. Yeah, what's holding us up is that hinge being there, because then the whole door went to go forward. Those hinges were whacked out of place from that hit. inch. No. Some pulling and pushing here to see if I can cinch this door better in place. We got this. Whoa, Evan, get here. All of a sudden she went in. All of a sudden she went into place. That hinge needs to come out too. If I take this, that's perfect. It's perfectly aligned. Right there. Well, there you go. Now this door wants to stick out. There's a tool that I could use to push that back into style, because I think it got worked out when they took the handle and everything out. We'll have to work on that. But bottom profile of this door looks really good now. I want to try to get you guys off of the camera stand so you guys could see this without me, you know, accidentally stop and press record. But if that does happen, then we're gonna continue this into I believe it's gonna be part 5. So let me try to get you guys off of here and see if we can't get by the door and check out the door. Alright, here we go. Okay, you guys are still with me. Here we go. Here's the door. Here's the profile. So we're really close. So if I were to take what I made and gave it a little more, what it needs to bring this lip inward a little, because this whole door has a structure of, it comes out, it bows out, planes out, and it's straight. Then as it comes down, it goes back in. And you can see that profile perfectly on this fender. So here's the top of the fender, and it has a really good angle going in, and it comes out, and then it planes out and it gets flat, and it comes down, and as it goes down she starts to come in, and she goes all the way around. So that's kind of the same thing that this door needs to do on the bottom here to reach this rocker. Now when I pounded that rocker down where the door goes in, it actually made enough room for the panel to actually sit correctly in place, and we ended up being able to get all of our spacing back, especially over here. I mean, this is perfect over here. A little hammering down to straighten out the metalwork I did and to get it exactly into position, and then you know, we got really close gap, which is good because we know we can get more out of the door by going forward. So what I want to do is I want to take the old hinge that's in there. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to do all the metal work and get a really nice probably a 1/4 plate inch 1/4-inch plate steel, and I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna go all the way up the side with a quarter-inch plate steel. And I'm gonna take those hinges off, and I think I'm gonna get universal hinges, or I'm gonna make some hinges. And I'm gonna make my own hinges. I'm gonna put this door exactly where I want it, and we'll tack it into place once we know exactly where we want it. And then I'll build my outer, and we'll get everything in place where it really wants to be. So since we're gonna go full custom anyway, we might as well, since we're there, change some hinges, because the hinges that are here are worn out. And I believe there's a couple tricks where you could revive old hinges. There's a couple ways. I remember my dad doing it a long time ago, but I don't know. That's something that we're gonna have to think about. So everybody have a good night. Again, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to end this video, and until next time, be safe out there, and enjoy building the cars. You know, just every time you're out in the shop or in your garage, enjoy the build. You know, if you get frustrated, try to walk away. I know that's hard to do. I have a hard time walking away myself, but we got some good progress here. We're finding out that we don't really have to cut into what we made, and our snag ups are the old hinges. We got the one problem figured out. I think I'm going to try to take this door off real quick and show you guys what I did inside there real quick. So I hope this video won't, I'm not going to press any buttons. I'm going to take this door off, and I'm going to just slide it over here. Okay, that ain't going nowhere. Okay, so I'm going to turn you guys around. Okay, so if you guys remember, this was all the way up, and if I bring you down now, if you look, it's all level. This was all binding together when they put these floors in, and everything on the floor was going in. So from me cutting this, it actually relieved it, so all this could sit flat, and the door, the actual floor recessed and actually meets up really nice. And as you go back, this floor wants to go up. So I'm thinking, since we cut all this anyway, and I kind of dig how it looks level almost, kind of like that. And I don't know if I want to leave this. So that's something that I'm gonna have to think about. I might continue the cut here and lower this as well, and make this all look nice and flush. Maybe, I don't know. I might push this back up so it meets this. We'll see what happens, because if I do it to this side, then I'm gonna want to do it to that side so it matches. So that's things that we're gonna think about here. But we got pretty far into it tonight, which was good. We had to figure that out, find that out, and we found out that we could keep this where it is. See where they welded this? They did a shitty job welding, but they did a pretty good job down and around here. And this is the existing frame here, so I think we're going to clean all this up. I'll continue this cut. I'll bring this floor down, weld it all back up, weld this, grind all that out, weld all this real nice, get all this finished real nice, looking good. Then we'll I'm gonna cut these pillar things out, and I'm gonna cut the existing hinge that's on the door. Because if you look at the door here, See how much play? It's got probably a good 1/16 of play. And I'm sure there's a way I could probably fix that. But we might do different hinges. And I think I'm going to replace all this metal here and do some 1/4 thick on the back side. So if you look on the back side of the door, you'll notice that this panel here is actually going inward. You can see it got, from that accident, everything got pushed inward. And even here, this is all like rippled up from the impact. You can see it goes all the way down to about around in here. It's separated. So I have a feeling that this whole panel, this whole structure here, went back. And that's why we're so tight on the back of the door and we have so much room here. So that's something that we're going to have to figure out as well. So these are all things factor in, you got to think about, and this is what it takes. You know, thinking about it, doing your best plan of action, and seeing what happens. And so far, we're making improvements. The door's starting to fit right. We noticed this, we noticed that, so we're looking good. What else? Oh, I'd like to show you guys what they did on top here. So when they did the rear, when they did this chop, what they did was they cut right around the bottom of the door, the bottom of the window, right here. You could see all these, and then they even cut here, all along the back of the trunk lid, and they went around to about here, and they cut. And then here they did the same thing. If you look real close, we got about a 1/16 of a gap here, maybe 2/16 of a gap. And when you put filler here, there's a chance of the body flexing and this cracking, and that's no bueno. It's not good. So I may have to take, cut so far down, cut this, because I don't know what happened here. This isn't good. I haven't really messed around with that. All I did was take this actually looks like old school tin work here. You can see the coloration. So I think this is lead. This is actually some lead work here. So I think, yeah, we're gonna cut this, come back here, get rid of that lead work, get rid of this line that was the body panel meeting up to this panel, put all that together, and then that'll get rid of all this gap here, because it'd be a shame to put a nice paint job on this thing and then all that happened. And if you look on the other side, they kind of did a better job, but it's still kind of the same thing. So they kind of did, like, I think this is the lapping technique here, and that's why I kind of don't like doing that on this kind of stuff. And so if you get a profile of this whole thing, you can see here where they did a cut, and then they cut down, and then they cut. So they took the roof, when they did the chop, they brought it down. they had this whole back piece, I believe, off the car. So then once that was down, they took the back window and put it back on it, and then they just layered metal, I think, over the existing. So this is the existing metal here, and then he put it back over and back over, and then he took this metal and even went over that. So we got the real metal, then they layered it, used the original metal again, and then they took their filler piece right here and they layered it on top of there. So that's one layer, two layers. So they got 2 layers of metal here. I don't know if I'm going to let it slide. There's ways to get around it. We'll see. We'll see once we get back into it. We might have to, you know, if you look at the profile of her. Let me get back here. If you can see, about right here, I think it's got too much of a hump, you know, sticking out too much up here. I think this needs to come down and follow this line a little better and cinch down. So I think we might re-chop the whole back section of the car and get rid of all that layering. But since it was layered and they did the layering technique, I followed that through here, because they, from the chop, they did their existing layer, and I just went right over and went up. So we'll see what happens on the next episode here. We'll see what we get into. I know we got to get this door done, so we'll probably get the door done. We'll put that skin on it. I might leave the skin off so we could do the inner framework. And I'm going to try to find 2 new hinges. We're going to weld new hinges on, and we're just going to put this door where we want it, and she'll be good. It'll be not a problem, and we'll always be able to position it where we want, because I'm going to put hinges that can be set where you want them, so they'll have adjustment to them, in, out, up, and down. So okay, you guys, thanks for tuning in again. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, and thanks for tuning in.